Hey guys, how you doing? This is Manga, etc., and I'm here to talk to you about One Piece manga chapter 790, and the fight is now done. Don Flamingo is kissing dirt. He is finished. It is through. Dressrosa is saved. It is done. It is over. And yeah, you guys are my manga readers, so you should have seen my manga news post. And I told you in that it was confirmed that the conclusion of Dressrosa will be concluded in this chapter. So if you didn't see that, I can, just based on this article that I read alone, I can guarantee you that the fight is done. Don Flamingo is done. But let's talk about the chapter itself. So it's pretty much Luffy and Doffy fight, and just Doffy is taking, it's just hitting Luffy, and Luffy is barely like defending himself. So like he's getting the haki in the right places at the last second, but it is still like, it's still sending them flying basically. And then it's not until after Doffy strings him up like a puppet. And he says, I can't remember exactly, I read the chapter yesterday, I'm just going off the dome right now. He says something and it gets Luffy angry, and he just goes straight into gear 4, and he breaks out the strings, and then he just jumps up for his final attack. And Doffy also goes in for his final attack as well. So they're both aiming to end this in just the next hit, one hit, not one. You can't say one hit KO because they've both been taking shots at each other all day, but they're both trying to finish this with their next move. So we also see a little flashback scene with Luffy and Rayleigh, and this is just set up so we know the origins of Luffy's final attack, I guess. I think I'm going to talk about the flashback a little bit later on, but we'll see. But yeah. So the final attack, we see Luffy, he's already in gear 4, but he blows into his muscles even more. And he finishes Doffy off with his Gama Gama no King Kong gun, sorry. And then yeah, that you can see from the attack alone that the destructive power of gear 4 is just, we still don't know the full extent. I'm starting to wonder, like, if, because this was a King Kong gun, so I'm wondering, is there other king attacks though? Like, is there King Leo Bazooka? This is what I'm trying to say. Like, is there a whole king range to his attacks? And yeah, that's the chapter. Doffy was finished. Now, am I happy with the ending? Yes, and because you've got to remember, even though Luffy did most of the work, he did not do this alone. I still don't think he could have done this alone. We have Law, he helped him with that whole, was it radio knife or gamma knife? Either way, the attack he did to Doffy, and Doffy had to stitch himself up. I think that played a big part in this. Also, the fact that how after he deactivated gear 4, he was unable to move for 10 minutes. If it wasn't for the gladiators that got in his way, if it wasn't for Gats taking him away, if it wasn't for Viola stepping in there and fighting him for a few minutes, these things made Doffy use more energy. So I think it all does add up. And also, Doffy did get cocky at the very end, thinking, I think it was cockiness and just underestimate. No, let's just say cockiness. But I think that his cockiness at the very end did play. All these things play a part into Doffy's defeat. So yes, I am happy with how this fight ended. And yeah, there's nothing more else to say on the chapter really. So where do we go from now? What's the next arc going to be about? I'm going to do a separate video on that, what I think was going to happen within that future. Yeah, I'll do a separate video on that. I'll probably do it tomorrow because I've got the time to, so I'll probably do that tomorrow. And yeah, so my rating for this chapter will be, because of the I don't like that word, I'm not going to say it, because of how great the because of the destructive power of the King Kong gun, I'll give it a 4-star. And just before I ended the video, I just need to say it for my channel purposes, because I've told you about the news, so I must deliver the news as well. If you read the very first page of the One Piece chapter, the color page, you'll get to know that the manga news that I mentioned in the separate video is that One Piece is now in the Guinness World Book of Records, which is a good thing. But because I was so hyped up about a new movie or another 3D2Y, when I read that I was like, but yeah, One Piece is now in the Guinness Book of Records. I'll leave the article in the description box below, but it's in the Guinness Book World of Records. The record that it broke was, it has the most, like, it's something like the most manga chapters for a single like show, so One Piece, written by one author, something like that, something along those lines. That's why it's in the Guinness World Book of Records. I do have one more piece of news. If you're manga readers and anime watchers, I found our article will be in the box below as well, that they are doing a TV special on Sabo. Now, I'm not too happy about this, and I'll tell you why. It's because what I've got from the article is going to be just a rehash of the flashback of the Luffy Sabo Ace flashback, and then we'll get a little bit into of why Sabo came to Dressrosa and like his reaction to meeting Luffy again from his perspective. If that's all it's gonna be, I say, why bother with it? I'm not really too fast skimming over 3D2Y. But yeah, guys, that's it for today. Like always, I'm asking for you to rate, comment, subscribe, but most importantly, take care. Have a nice day. One more thing about this One Piece chapter. I just like to talk about how the whole thing with Rayleigh, how he mentions that how Gear 4 is too much stress for his body. And it just got me thinking, like, because at first Gear 2 was too much stress for his body, and the whole thing of how Ivar took years of his life is just making me think that Luffy is really stressing out his body. So I don't think he's gonna die at the end of One Piece, but I do think he's gonna end up like Whitebeard, where he's just this like powerful guy, but he's weakened because of his physical health. Because of his physical health. I just wanted to say that as well and see what you guys think of that. Do you think Luffy will die at the end of One Piece, or do you think it's going to be more like Whitebeard, where he's feared all around the seas, still very powerful, but could be powerful if he was in better health? Just wanted to throw that in there as well, but I'm now done, so take care, have a nice day.